as a whole, what does it mean to you, this 2024 class?
Well, I mean, all those kids are special kids, all of them. They are special kids, and I thank them for allowing me to coach them. And, it's I'm excited for this week and excited for Friday night. And it was really exciting to see them. The bus ride home Thursday was special.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our weekly coaches show. We are excited to once again be joined by Coach Marksbury in the studio in the flesh. And we did it, Coach. Got our first road win on Thursday, and this is big implications. It means we are now going to be hosting playoff games and going into our last regular season with a win. So, I'm sure the answer is good and short, but take us through all the emotions going right now.
Oh, it was a big night. Yeah, it was huge. Went over there. I'm sure not very many people were giving us much of a shot. We know who we are. We know what we felt. Very comfortable going in. I think we came out. I would really like to get our. I really don't like going on offense to start a game, but that's here nor there. I don't know why we can't win a toss, but anyway, we just went out. I thought we took it to them from the beginning. And I thought we were more physical. I thought we played faster than them. I think we frustrated them. I think some of the things we did to them, they had not had done to them all year. And it was a big win. Big win. Coach Wider came into the coaches meeting yesterday, and this is his third year with us, and it was. He said he thought it was a top 3 win over the last 3 years, just for the simple fact of all the chips were on the table. We knew, if we did not take care of business there Friday night or Thursday night, we were going to have to scoreboard watch on Friday, and we didn't want to do that. We just wanted to take care of it, and we knew if we won, we had a really good chance to be the 2 seed. So that's we also had to win because that forced Henry County to have something to play for on Friday. Mm-hmm. If we had lost, Henry County knew they were basically out. So they weren't going to have a lot to play for on Friday night. So anyway, it was great. It was kids were engaged. They were locked in. I don't know what else to say. It was huge. It was a huge win.
You talk about things chipped against you in the game, but also this team has had trouble getting that energy on the road. So not only was it on the road, it was on a Thursday. So you got to wake up for school next morning. You got to go through a Thursday, middle of the week. The weird locker room setup, you have to run down a hill to get to the field. It's rainy, so the fans are engaged. The fans that even came out, there weren't even that many fans there.
Right.
So getting the energy to beat a team like North Oldham, where did that come from? How did it feel?
Well, the first thing about it was I would much rather play on a Thursday because at least you're in school. It's a normal routine. Now, we looked at it from this aspect of it was a Thursday night. There's, a lot of the attention was going to be on the, Thursday night football, kind of treated it like a kind of a college Thursday night experience, like, hey, everybody's going to be watching. It's a big game. And, yeah, I knew the fans probably it was going to be a difficult ask with the rain and everything like that. So, we just tried to use it like that. And, I don't know really why, but I don't know if it was desperation or you just knew. You knew that if we didn't win, we were going to have to sit back and cross our fingers and hope that Henry County could beat Shelby. And they just handled their business. They warmed up well. They traveled well. They were excited to be there. They took the challenge, and it was just North Oldham was just a different game. Not that they weren't, it was a better matchup for us. And, I knew that going in, and our coaching staff knew that. I didn't want to really advertise that. It's nothing that they do. It's just a better matchup.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to air out the dirty laundry or anything, but after the game and the post-game talk, what students got out there, and you got a little emotional talking about the breakthrough of that win and talking about what this team has been through. And I just got to ask, does it feel like the whole locker room got that sense, we did it, we're ready to go? And how confident are you heading into this last regular season game, then heading into the playoffs?
Well, it wasn't, and that's why you coach. Sometimes kids just need some they just need guidance, and they were different kids. It's just like I've said, and they're great kids. They're phenomenal kids. I mean, I wouldn't trade them for anybody. But like where a Cam Cardwell, a Gabe Bowling, and those kids thrived on going into other, hey, we're going to go in there, and hey, we're going to go in there, we're going to do, it's just they thrived on it. This group just didn't, and I mean, it was just sometimes it would just get them out of their element, and they just. But the other night they went over there and they did it. And when you coach, that's why you coach. You coach to see kids do things that they didn't really know if they could do or not, and to see the kids' faces. And then when we go in there at halftime and just know that we finished the game off the right way, and we made some stops on defense, and we got a turnover there late, and it's just we did what we everything was pretty much spot on, with the exception of Kellen running out of bounds inside of a minute to go. That was probably the only drawback. You just can't run out of bounds there. That kind of just made things a little bit tighter when he did that, because we wanted them to use timeouts, and they got to save one. We could have run the clock down to about 10 seconds, and they wouldn't have had anything they could have done, but that saved them 40 seconds, and it was huge. And but anyway, we'll forgive him for that.
So let's talk about the game. Let's talk about where the success came from. I'd want to say it before you do, but Jared had a phenomenal game.
Right.
I don't think I've seen him look more under control and more prepared than when he threw his 2 first touchdown passes. I mean, when he threw those, it looked so confident. It looked so ready, and that was just great to see, because I remember a couple throws, and it just, when it left his hands, you're like, oh, he did not mean to do that. And now where he is at this point in the season, I mean, it's not only confidence for me as a fan heading into these last few games, but I mean, that just has to make you as a coach be like, yeah, I mean, he's starting to get it a little bit.
Well, and I got to do a better job during games getting him some easy completions. You saw our first completion. We knew they were playing man to man, and the first completion we had, we put Kellen and Drew Kellen in a slot, Drew at his spot, and Drew just ran off, and he opened up the whole side of the field. So it was 1, 2, 3 throw, and you got Kellen running a little out route against people that can't cover him. And it's just easy. And then next it was a 25-yard completion, and it was just easy. So that gets him started and gets his confidence going. And then he threw the ball up, and his receiver for Drew. Drew makes a pass and makes a huge catch, and then we had a little play that we knew was going to work against him. We bring Kellen in motion, and then Eric goes back to the other side of the field. It's man-to-man coverage. The guy that's covering Eric cannot keep his eyes on Eric because he's got Kellen running at him. So and then he gets lost, and next thing you know, he's wide open on the other side of the field. And we knew it would work, so we just had to find the right time to run it. So yeah, those are good things. And then it's good. It's the way it's supposed to work, and we don't throw it a lot, but we want to make some completions. And then we also knew we were manipulating their defense a little bit, because I didn't really want to say too much last week because I don't know when these are going to air, but I just never seen anybody when we trade formations, they don't move a man. You're playing man-to-man, and when we traded Eric, that was giving us a man advantage on that side every time. So it just, I don't know why they did that, but we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I think one thing about this game, which when I was kind of looking back at it, was like, wow, I mean, this team has made improvements, is there wasn't really huge swings. It feels like in every game this year there's been a play that just like, that was the one or whatever. Like, this game was pretty clean throughout, even from them. I think we had a fumble, but we even ended up getting it back.
Right.
How does it make you feel? You walk into a team like North Oldham, who is a pretty well-composed team. I mean, it's also at the end of the year for them. So they're pretty prepared. And we go in there, both teams don't make huge, big mistakes, and we just won that game. Like, is that more, I know you hate bragging on yourself, but is that a testament to the coaching and what the work you guys put in this game, or is that just the kids, like, they went up there and they just won a ball game?
Well, I mean, you try to put game plans in place, and, sometimes the game plans we have, like I'll tell you, the game plan we had way back when we played South Oldham was a bad game plan, and we got beat 46-0. And that I don't really want to dump that on the kids because that was us. We missed it. We thought we could do some things that we couldn't. On Friday night, look, Tanner Schuler has gotten better and better and better every week, both at the offensive line with his pulling and also at linebacker. And number 16 for them came in, and he had 60 or 70 catches on the year. And if you watch the film, he could not get free. Every time he come off the line, Tanner was there, and Tanner was putting his hands on him and making it difficult for him to run his routes, and it really affected their timing, and it affected the game. Look, they couldn't do anything. I mean, it was because people don't understand in high school, when the quarterback has the ball in his hands, you can disrupt the routes of the receivers. Well, everybody was screaming the other night saying, well, that's this. Look, as long as the quarterback's got the ball in his hand, now you can't tackle them or you can't drag them down or anything like that. But look, you can hit them and ride them and be physical with them and all that. But as long as the quarterback has the ball in his hand, but as soon as he lets it go, it's just like everything else. You can't interfere with them. But so we took the rules, we used them to our advantage, and we made them. Basically, he didn't want to run routes. Because he knew every time he ran a route, 55 was standing there looking at him, and Tanner's a big dude, and he's athletic, and he was getting his hands on him every route, and that was the difference in the games. And if we didn't, just to give you an idea, if we did not do that, 16 was going to run around untouched, and the quarterback would throw it to him all night long, and we would have probably lost the game. That one simple thing there, just Tanner doing his job all night on 16, changed the game. And then the fact that they couldn't run the ball, it's made it difficult on them. Tanner is definitely the most valuable player. Tanner Schuler was the most valuable player on Thursday night. He changed the game with how he was coachable, he executed. And look, I know that he got some holding penalties because we had him so geared up to be so physical with that receiver. That, look, he tackled him sometimes. But you know what? As a coach, we know that, look, when you're asking a kid to be that physical with somebody, sometimes he's going to get a little aggressive and he's going to tackle him. But you know what? We'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Because the outcome worked the way we wanted it to.
Yeah. And you can't ask for a much of a different game this week because you go from a Thursday nightlight game at North Oldham, rainy, to now this Friday we're finishing up at home with Nelson County. It's going to be a really good crowd. Band's having an alumni night. We worked out we're going to have free student admission. Yeah. It's going to be a really big night. But also, this is our first game or our last game of the season. And you don't want to put bad juju in the air, but it can sometimes be hard to stay focused when right around the corner you have playoffs. And in terms of implications, this game really, you could say doesn't mean that much. Does that scare you at all that, maybe these kids are going to be looking at playoffs through all they've been through and they're ready to go capitalize, or is this just another week in the office?
Well, our kids play well at home.
Oh, yeah.
Our seniors do not want to, I would venture a guess, do not want to lose on their senior night. They understand Nelson County is a good team. They are 6-3, I think. So, again, it's what we do. It's the teams we play. They'll be excited. That's great to hear that we're anticipating a pretty awesome environment on Friday night. I didn't know all that stuff I didn't know it was band alumni night, so that's awesome. No, that's we expect our kids to play well every time we go out, and I don't anticipate our seniors, or here's exactly the way we always phrase it. I don't anticipate our underclassmen to play a bad game against on senior night. Of all the nights you're going to play well as an underclassman, you better play well on senior night because that's those kids' special night. So we need to make sure we take care of those guys.
Yeah. So let's talk about that matchup. Typically, I guess the stereotype is if you were either a senior night game or a homecoming night game means it's an easy win. So
no, that's not the case here.
I don't feel like we've had one of those all year, but unfortunately we don't have one again. So let's talk about it. How good is Nelson County, the matchup wise, and where do we stand right now?
I will tell you they are very physical, and they play really hard. If you want to compare them, and when I say this, people say, "Oh my gosh," they are very similar to South Oldham. Just don't have the size and everything, but that South Oldham. No, it's going to be a challenge. We feel like we got a good it's a good matchup for us. But that still means we have to go play. They got some really good kids that play really hard. I've gotten to watch them because we were off, and I got to watch them play physical. In person. I got to watch them play Bardstown. And then, being our Thursday game, I rode over to John Hardin last week and watched them play John Hardin. So they are very physical. And look, they play very similar team to us.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar team to us. They're just kids that play hard. They're physical. They'll get after you. We think there's some things that we have that are advantageous to us, but we got to go out and execute it. If we just have to keep playing clean games. We just have to keep playing clean. And that's the other night we went over there. There were 3 turnovers for North Oldham, none for us, and that's a difference in the game right there. So, but we think they have a really, really good kicker who's going to kick it into the end zone every time. But somebody told me that. I said, well, hey, we have 2 really good kickers, so we'll one-up you there. So
that's one thing I didn't bring up. Like, Kyle had a phenomenal game.
He's 4 for 4 on the year on field goals, and
our
extra points are pretty much, knock on wood, they're automatic. And, then you add Tommy to that, who's just kicking it into the end zone and every time. So, it's
even with the wind at North Oldham, it was still getting like that 2-yard line, 5-yard line. The returns weren't really there. I mean, I think it's so weird that we keep going on about this every week, but I mean, you just can't say it enough. They have really changed games for us.
They do change. I mean, it does. And our special teams are not only with the kicking, but our coverage team. And I can't say it enough too. Coach Iyer, having him come in. He was a college coach for 4 or 5 years, and he does our special teams for us and coaches our DBs and our running back. That's a huge get for us. Plus, not only is he a phenomenal math teacher in our building, but he's taken our special teams to a different level just by the detail that he puts into it, and it's been huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And looking at just like the outlook of the season, Nelson County being 6-3, that sounds good. We're 4-5 right now. At one point, 1-4, and it looked like there was no, there's no coming back. It looked like it was a dark time. It really was a dark time for Cincinnati football. And now we're back in a chance to be 5-5, 500. That's that's kind of the threshold that, well, if you can get there, then it's a little bit sit back and kind of take it. It's fine.
5-5 sounds a lot better than 4-6.
It does. Yeah. Well, and you can get to 500. It's like. It's a little bit of saving grace.
And it's not really going to change anything. We like our draw in the playoffs. That doesn't mean any, but we want to go in on a positive note, and we're going to we've prepared, and we'll have a good week of practice, and it's a good matchup for us, and I'm sure Nelson County's sitting there saying it's a good matchup for them, but it's we know that our kids play well here, with the environment and everything like that, so they'll be ready.
Yeah.
Now Nelson County they're going to run the ball at us, and we'll have to stop them and everything like that. But they got some big backs and an offensive line that plays really hard, and we think it's a good matchup for us.
Well, that's actually what I was about to ask, is what makes them get to that point of being 6-3. So, I mean,
they run a little bit of option. Their quarterback makes them go. I mean, he's a 4-year starter. He started here when he was a freshman in a game that when we played here, and I don't even know what the score was. Actually, I think Kellen started at quarterback for us that night. We don't even want to go back. That was COVID. That was the COVID year. So I think we had some issues with COVID, so we had to start Kellen at quarterback against Nelson County his freshman year. So that goes way back.
Well, we kind of might run that back. Do we have a little bit of Wildcat?
Yeah, we tried to run a little bit of that the other night, but it didn't work so well. But we might have a little bit of a few plays there. But that quarterback started here as a freshman, so he's a 4-year starter. They got a big fullback. It's probably about 215 pounds. They are very similar to South Oldham. Now, they're not as big as South Oldham, and they don't have as many players as South Oldham had. So when I say that, that's just their offensive philosophy is. So, and it's a good matchup for us, our defense versus their offense. But we just gotta play well and execute. And that was the thing the other night, was our kids were dialed into the scouting report, and they, we never kind of varied from it, and we knew where things were going. Because in our defense, we have a really good defense, and we play to that.
Mm-hmm.
We play to that.
Well, of course, we've said it multiple times, it's senior night coming out Friday. Definitely don't want you to dive into those and, get those emotions flowing.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask first off your philosophy on a senior night. I know Burns on senior night is business as usual. We tried to get Michael Cowan out there in the jersey last year. He was not going for it at all. So what's your philosophy on senior night? Is it just another day in the office, or is it a day to reflect and let those kids have a little bit of extra fun, or is it just, again, like another day?
Well, it's business as usual for us. Now we're going to recognize them and honor them and all that stuff, but it's just I feel like I would do those seniors a disservice if I didn't put my I'm big on limiting distractions. I think distractions really can cause some issues. So we want to try to keep. We're going to give them their due. We'll even recognize the seniors from. We'll mention the seniors from Nelson County on Friday night because I think any seniors that go through their programs and everything like that, they need their due recognition. So we'll recognize our seniors and their parents, and I think we're doing cheerleaders on Friday also. Dawson Barr's senior manager, we'll recognize him, and then we'll recognize our 12 seniors. We'll try to get that started, probably start recognizing the cheerleaders at about 7 and get started with our football seniors at about 7:05. And then we want to try to move it right in because we always feel, again, if we don't want to get the kids too far out of whack. Sometimes you get off to a rough start on senior night because of all the emotions and everything like that. But this is, as I've mentioned all year, this is a pretty level group. They don't get too up and down. Now they get excited at home, but we'll try to keep it business as usual and hopefully get off to a good start. And it's awesome that we're going to have a big crowd here. That's really important and deserving for the kids and everything like that. So
and this is the question that I'm kind of afraid to ask. I don't know where it's going to go with you, but you never want to pick favorite kids, but I think it'd be pretty easy for you to say this is probably your favorite senior class to come through. Your son's out there, and it's been an unconventional class. I mean, Drew's only been out for 2 years, and he's playing such a huge role this year. Eric played, left, he's back, and he's playing a big role. Nick has been one of the scariest guys I've ever watched step foot on a football field. Keenan, big players. I mean, our offensive line, guys on our D-line. I mean, this is just a widespread senior group and such an important senior group with the years they've been here. So, like, as a whole, what does it mean to you, this 2024 class?
Well, I mean, the thing about this group that makes them special really is just the fact that they were behind last year's class.
Oh, yeah.
And that class was a very I don't really know how to phrase it, but they were successful,
prestigious almost.
Yeah, I mean prestige. And I don't want to say anything in a negative way, but they were just that was the class from the time that they were coming through middle school that everybody had always, here they come, here they come, here they come, here comes that next. Well, this class was kind of just behind them, and they kind of got lost in it a little bit because everybody talked about the other. But this group, it's very. They just go about their work. They don't need a lot of recognition. Nick Stowe comes in and does his job. Kellen comes in and does his job. They don't ask for a lot of notoriety. They don't they just come in. It's a very workmanlike group. They come in, they punch the clock, and they go, they do their thing, and then they get done. And but on Friday nights they go out there and they generally take care of business, and it would be huge for them to win on Friday and get to 5-5, and then we're set up. Because I know the Shelby County game is really it irritates them because of all the games this year, the Shelby County game is the one that set back and makes you just kind of want to scratch your head and say, okay, what happened? Because Hart County is 9-0.
Oh yeah,
they won their district. South Oldham was a very no disrespect in losing that game. Franklin County, they've got a shot to win the state championship. That's no embarrassment there. But then we went over in the way we played at Shelby, it just makes you kind of sit back and say, what happened there? And, same thing with Collins. Cade Gooden, we went over to their place. But the Shelby County game was an outlier. And, it's just one of those things because, you look at, like, North Oldham beat Shelby 49-21, and that, people are like, whoa, wow. And so then we go over there and beat them. It just makes you say, what happened that night. And honestly, it's just one of them things, just everything. Sometimes a basketball player can have an off shooting night or whatever, and it was just one of those things. We were just a little bit off, and for whatever reason, and but sometimes you just draw a line through it and say, hey, it happened. Let's move on to the next game. That's kind of the way we handled it, and very fortunate to have fall break there. I say fortunate. I had to deal with it for a little bit longer time, but hey, I think it allowed them to just flush it and then move on, and which is what they did. And they were wired up on Friday, and but it's been a group that they just handle their business. No issues. I think they're very positive in the locker room for their underclassmen and everything like that, and they're just very professional approach to the game. And sometimes sometimes I just wish, I think it did cause us a little bit of an issue just because they were so just not bringing their own juice on the road. So that was something we had to figure out. But Friday night or Thursday night was a breakthrough in that aspect. And but it's a special group. They were it's been a joy to coach them. I mean, no issues or anything like that, and I'm excited for them. Hey, I told them the other night, we get a trophy. We're a district runner-up. Hey, there's nothing ever wrong getting a trophy, a district runner-up trophy, and we get to play another game at home. And our bracket, the path, we'll probably either go to DeSales or host Henry if we can get by that first round of the playoffs, which again, there you go. There we are. And then if you get to that, you get to a region championship. So, we're not going to look on down the road, but hey, us taking care of business on Thursday night really, really helped us out. And I'm really happy for those kids. It was good to send that text out to them and let them know that we're the 2 seed and the path and everything like that. So they were excited about that and everything like that.
So I'm glad we got through that. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was
it's good. I'm enjoying.
When I think about these guys, and I love Spencer County football. I love Kellen and Drew.
Yeah,
those are my guys. So last year is Johnny and Bryce, and seeing them go out. I mean, that's tough on me, and you have to do it year in and year out. And this year, with it being your son, I mean, this is just going to be an emotional night. And you have to win. I mean, you can't lose a senior night, especially this group. So, got to go out there and win. And as you look at it now, we have this final home game of the regular season, and then you said we host a playoff game, and then there's a pretty good chance that we host another one. Is this kind of a thing that you just kind of sit back and take a deep breath, and then you're ready to go? Like, this has to be, I don't want to say relaxing because there's a lot of work to do, but this has to be like, with how this season's gone, this has to be a very hopeful and exciting time.
Well, I'll put it to you, and I don't hope this when I say, last year was pressure because we knew what we had. Mm-hmm. We knew that we had a really good team, and it was you just didn't want to screw it up. So there was pressure with that. This year, I've told my coaches, I've told my wife, I've told everybody, it was just, we knew we had a good team. We just wanted to continue to improve, and we wanted to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And that's what has happened. Yeah, and, I didn't want to sit back and, I was never one of those guys that coached his son growing up. My thing with Kellen was he needed to learn to hear stuff from other people. He didn't need to hear it from me from first grade through high school. He needed to hear other people coach him and have other people coach him. And, one day, maybe you'll have the opportunity to play for me when you get to high school. And I think that was a very, very important thing for him. And that's allowed him to build relationships with other people and trust other people. But you know what? Now he's gotten to high school and he's gotten to be coached by me. And these 4 years have been pretty special. But you know what? I've made myself, I wanted to enjoy it. I didn't want it to be tough or anything like that. And it's, I have. And I'm ready for Friday night.
Um,
I want to keep coaching him as many of the games as I can, and I want him to be, see how far we can ride this thing out. But you know what?
Let's just go ahead and get the Kroger and let's just send it off and
sunset
rides.
There you go. That would be awesome. But all those kids are special kids. Yeah. All of them. They are special kids, and I thank them for allowing me to coach them. And it's I'm excited for this week, and excited for Friday night. It was really exciting to see them. The bus ride home Thursday was special.
Oh yeah, we saw some videos.
No, Friday night. It's
we saw you running up and down there.
Well, that's why. That's what happens on and that's why I don't know when that thing started, but that was something that I don't know where it started, but I think it started at Bullitt East last year, and then it just kind of. Every time we would go on the road, it was I go home and I got a big thing on, and they're like, "What happened to you?" And I got hurt celebrating on the bus on after the game on Thursday.
I just saw that. That's actually a pretty gnarly scar you got there.
Yeah, no, it is, and that's where it came from. The bus ride. I was running up and down the aisles of the bus before, but as it was stopped, it wasn't moving when I was doing that. But that's just a little kind of tradition or something that we do when we went on the road. So that's the bus rides. Home after wins are huge.
Yeah, it always seems like, for better or for worse, cheerleading senior night, football senior night, band alum night, the game might take a back seat to the festivities, but it's a big game for us. Probably more for just the reasons of keeping that confidence right in the playoffs.
Keeping the momentum.
But it's a big win. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I do want to get your message to those fans. There were a few at North Oldham. We're expecting a really big one this week.
What's the theme?
Oh, costume night.
Costume night, because I get that every week. I go home, my wife's like, "What's the theme this week?"
We should probably start saying that. That'd be something we can start saying. It's easy in playoffs. It's just a blue out in playoffs.
But we look.
Are you going to be wearing costumes on the sideline? Is that the plan this year?
No, I will not.
Okay, I'll check my sources on that.
But I am. I want it to be I would love for it to be a special night. And then, look, it is every night. But hey, seeing those stands packed and the students jumping up and down and the band playing and the music they play up in the press box and the fireworks going off, and it's just it's special, and it's a special environment, and I'm going to tell you it affects the game.
It's hard for other teams.
No, I'm just telling you, because
sure.
we as coaches always say going to Henry County and playing is a tough place to play. Well, I'm just telling you, coming to Spencer County is a very difficult place to play.
Mm-hmm. I remember even that South Oldham game, it was hard for them to get going, and then once they got going,
well, it was pretty hard. That was some. I'll take responsibility for that, but we won't. We won't. It is absolutely. I won't miss it like that again.
It is absolutely home field advantage for sure. So. Yeah, I can't wait, Coach. Appreciate you coming
Thank
out
you.
one more time for us. We appreciate you guys once again for tuning in. New look with the Coaches Show. A lot more going on screen for those who watch. If you're listening, it's still just really good information. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We really do. Come out on Friday. Come out for the seniors. It's going to be a great night. And then we get into playoffs. And then it really starts. So.
Yes, it does.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Till next time.